Welcome to the Recovery Lab. Today we have John Weinstein with us, Executive Vice President of FNB Bank in Pittsburgh, but former Treasurer of Allegheny County. And we want to talk about today some of the impacts that abuse has on the community at large and the benefits of recovery and the programs in recovery for regenerating that money back. John, welcome.
Thank you.
And it's very nice having you today. Thank you for your efforts.
Absolutely. It's a pleasure to be here and visiting Washington County and seeing your facility here. It's tremendous.
Love it, love it. How many years as treasurer in Allegheny County?
I was 28, 7 terms I was elected.
Fantastic. So you've seen everything.
Pretty much. I've seen a lot. I could probably write a book about it.
Oh, I love it. Maybe that's something that Julio will help you with, because Julio is my guru when it comes to creating books, comes to create.
That's very cool.
He's got a lot under his belt. Julio, welcome to you again today, joining us on this podcast. But
Always
John,
a pleasure.
You were in there 28 years, so you were there before recovery came an issue. I can only imagine the cost to a county when you're dealing with so many different areas in life and how abuse affects every part of an individual's life as they go through it. It's their housing, it's their food stamps, it's their daycare for children, it's everything. How much of a burden, as you were working year to year on your budget, how did you allot for these costs that were coming down the road?
You know, Matt, that's a great observation, and especially in a county like Allegheny, which is certainly much larger than Washington County. I mean, we had 1.3 million people that live in Allegheny County.
Wow.
So it's pretty big. We have 43 school districts, 132 municipalities, individual municipalities. There's about 300,000 people living in the city of Pittsburgh, and about 1 million people lived outside the city and the rest of the county. But abuse effectuates it touches someone everywhere, right? No matter what.
I think very few families don't have it.
Correct.
There's
someone in everyone's family that it touches, and it's very, very costly to government. People don't understand that. They don't think it does cost the government anything, but really it does, because even if a person's an employee and now they become addicted to a substance, even a county employee, right?
I didn't even take that into consideration.
Right. So huge. We had 7,000 employees in Allegheny County on our payroll.
Wow.
Every day. And when that occurred, and it did occur, you know it's going to occur. And
I look at that 10% factor in everything.
Absolutely.
So you're probably looking at, 700
people, right. And I mean, Allegheny County at one point had the highest overdose rate in the state of Pennsylvania, deaths.
I did not know
Yes. I think there was over like 600 fatalities and overdoses in Allegheny County. It was the highest in Pennsylvania, even higher in Philadelphia, which is amazing because their population is larger than ours. But it effectuates all layers, from government to your family, as you said, from food stamps, because if you're not working, right, you can't eat. So now the government has to pay for the food stamps. It affects clothing or schooling, or taking your kids to school, or your transportation. How do you get there, right? And you can't afford to even go on the bus. Now you got to get subsidized bus passing. All that has to come from government.
It's amazing the different things that the tentacles of abuse will touch in our lives.
Absolutely.
Is there a way to factor in? Can it be factored in when somebody recovers and somebody is now gainfully employed and they're adding to the system instead of taking away from the system? I wish there was a way we could calculate the benefit of that.
Right.
Because I think it's exponential.
You're so right, Matt, because now you're talking about someone that becomes a positive aspect to society. And they're paying taxes, right? They're paying a wage tax. They're paying real estate tax if they buy property. They're spending money at the grocery store. They're buying clothes. They're buying a car. They're buying gas, insurance. All of those things circulate back into the economy of the region, whether it's Washington County, Allegheny, Butler, Beaver, whatever, in Western Pennsylvania. I mean, it effectuates lives everywhere. And I've seen it. As the treasurer, I was the bank of Allegheny County, right? Between the Health and Human Service budget, the capital budget, and the general operating budget, $3 billion a year flowed through my office.
Wow.
As Washington is significantly smaller than Allegheny County, you know, from geographically and population-wise and everything. But you still have the same problems, right? Regardless of how many people you have there, you still have the same issues that effectuate people's lives. And substance abuse is definitely one of them.
I think it leads into, and it's something, you know, the thing that I always look at, prior to COVID and just after COVID, it was considered 8 to 10% success rate with recovery. If we can just get that to 20, if we can get that to 25%, imagine the impact on the individual taxpayer. There's so many taxpayers out there that don't even have children, but they're putting into the system, but they're paying for the ill fate of everybody else.
Right.
And that's a staggering number when you think about it.
What is the success rate now? What's the percentage, would you say?
I'd say we're probably moving the needle, but there hasn't been a new study on it yet. We're probably looking at, when we do the opioid roundtable that we do every fall, I'm hoping there's an updated number on that. You're always a year behind with your statistics, so we have to see what the demographics are on it. But when you're working in skill building, when you're working in a lot of different places other than, and I say this all the time on this podcast, you cannot be successful in recovery with meetings and abstinence only. You have to find that purposeful life. You have to change your direction in employment, what it was before.
Absolutely.
Hey, if you were working at a restaurant and you're a DW at 10 o'clock at night till 2 o'clock in the morning, if you go back to that job, guess what? It's probably going to happen again.
Right.
So it's about putting new skills in somebody's toolbox for them to be able to survive.
It's training. It's education and training.
I'm huge on that. I'm huge on living a purposeful life. And it doesn't matter how thick your steak has to be. Anything's better where you were prior to coming into recovery and coming into Serenity Farms, Inc. We're strong on I told you about the fiber optics class, the 71% placement rate.
That's fantastic.
We've not had one person backslide to recovery or to treatment out of that program. And that shows me the benefits of it, because backsliding is what, Julio, I'm going to let you touch on that. Backsliding's part of it. But if we skill build, does that narrow that window for backsliding? Right now, the fiber optic classes show that it has a major impact on people's recovery.
Yes, and I actually Uber some of the guys to their other jobs while they waiting to get placed into the fiber optics jobs, and they doing great. The 3 people that I have driven around, they are doing really awesome right now. And they real positive on their future now. You know, before it was like they would guess if they, man, am I gonna make it? Kind of like me in my early recovery. Am I gonna make this?
Yep.
You know? But once you get something under your belt that's really positive, it moves you forward. You know what I mean? It takes that guess out. Like, no, I could do this. And you got more confidence.
And it's a reality
in
check.
yourself.
John, imagine.
Absolutely.
You're in Allegheny County. You know, to have a household, to have 2 kids, a wife, pay rent, and have that kind of infrastructure in life, you have to make a certain dollar.
Absolutely.
You're not going to make that dollar if you don't build a skill and have a skill that's successful and moves you forward. Right now in the room, we have a guy from harness racing. We got Daryl Price from the county in the green room right now. And they can tell you right now, somebody like JL who works and busts his butt in a very physical way, it's important. You feed your family that way. You put food on the table. It doesn't matter what profession you are in. It's about being able to provide to your family. And I'm telling my son this right now because he just got out of college. I've talked to Julio about it. It's about being thankful and appreciating what you have and the employment you have. Because without that, you always got to thank the guy that's putting food on your table. You got to always appreciate the job you have. If you don't do that, chances are you could end up in one of these categories. But if you do feel that way, you change your environment. The gentleman that I'm talking about from harness racing, he's done a great living, made a great living all those years. Now he's working in a different capacity right now. Still a foot in harness racing, but a foot in different employment. That's a guy that's hungry and wants to always be putting out for his family. He wants to be providing for his family on a day-to-day basis. I love bringing in people in this room who are successful at the jobs they do and the professions they chose, because they chose a pathway for others. And there's pride. You find out who you are by what you're working. That is your identifier in life. You identify yourself. Some people identify themselves through faith. Some people identify themselves, I hate to say it, as a drug abuser. Some people identify themselves as a college student. But a lot of people, it's their employment gives them their identity. And it's important. And these people, I hate to say it, they're people that we have come through this building, 30, 40 years of age. They don't have an identity. And I think that's something else that recovery, skill building, and job placement will provide you with. You change your label.
You're changing their life, and you're helping to build an identity for them.
I love it. I love it. John, where do you see things when it comes to county government? Do you see a day? You know, we've got Health and Human Services on the federal level. They're making recovery a priority. They're going to be putting, we're kind of blinded by it with this war going on, so we're not seeing the benefit of it right now because there's only so much you put in the news. Can programs like that from the federal basis have an impact on county government?
Absolutely. And Health and Human Services comes, the county had a huge Health and Human Services department. The budget there was $1 billion a year.
Wow.
Just a third of our operating budget was Health and Human Services because you get matching money for that. For every dollar the county put in, the federal government, the state put $1 in. So it's an investment in helping these people that need it the most. And hopefully someday that it strengthens itself and it really circles around and shows and it makes these people feel like there's something that happened wrong in their life at some point and now they're back on the right track. And it put them where they need to be to create an identity, as you said, and to take care of their family. What's more important in life?
There's nothing more important than that.
But what I was saying, though, Matt, when you think about it, at the end of the day, you know, we all know a lot of people that are very successful in life and have a lot of things, right? They have money and houses and cars and boats and all this stuff. But when you meet your maker and you're laying in that casket, no one walks up to that casket and says, man, he had a great house, didn't he? Wow. Boy, he had a nice car, did he? No, they talk about the person that they were.
Yep.
Right? How they treated their family, how they treated their parents, right?
And you'll either miss them because of who they were or be glad they're, no.
But not because of what they had in life. It's because of who they were.
And how they treated others.
And how they treated other people.
And that's what it comes down to.
And I've always been that way my whole life. I'm a very humble person about treating people right. I don't care if it's the guy that sweeps the floor or the president of the bank. I treat them all the same.
It's amazing.
That's the way it should be.
It's amazing. I try to do the same thing. We got an open door policy, treat people like family, treat people, you know, that we're glad that they're in the building.
And what you're doing here, my hat is off to you because this is fantastic. And you're touching people's lives in a way in helping them where no one else is really doing this. And this should be replicated.
I love it.
Everywhere.
I love it.
That's what they need to do is to take your facility and your ideas and your inspiration and what wakes you up in the morning to do this, to help all these people every day.
That means a lot to me, John. That means a lot to me.
I'm honored to be here and to learn what you're doing. This is fantastic.
You know, when we look at recovery and we look at what we want to do with the Recovery Lab podcast, it's about bringing unique ideas and unique characters in that we don't normally hear about. We do the traditional things of people that have gone through treatment, gone through the hard knocks of society while they're in the throes of their abuse. But we want to show you the world that's out there, the world that you're going to be a part of as you're successful. And I will put my reputation on the line when I say you will be successful. Because if you come here and you comply with what we have here and you take the training seriously, you'll never look back. You always got to play the tape back. You got to be weary of that devil on your shoulder, but you'll have more tools and more strength than you had when you came in here. And I can guarantee that. And we will give that effort 100% with every individual that crosses our path. I really appreciate, John, you coming in and joining us today.
It's an honor to be here.
You did a great job. Julio, it's always great working with you. From the Recovery Lab, we will talk to you next time. Anybody needs any information or needs help, please contact Serenity Farms, Inc. We're here for you. Thank you for your time.
God bless you, my friend.
God bless you. Great job, John. Great job.